So today is a good day if you're a man, but not if you're a woman. They have taken down all the Are We Dating the Same Guy pages, and personally I think it's disgusting. Like, it's hard enough to be a female in this society where, let's face it, women just aren't safe from the one thing that's meant to be protecting us, which is men. And I have seen men be posted on there who are violent, abusive, not just hurting women but hurting children as well, giving people diseases, taking money from people, all sorts of things. I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's true because it's backed up with evidence. And I personally have been saved by those groups multiple times. I went on a date with somebody last year who ended up being a really dangerous person, and then somebody that I had been seeing on and off for several years was also seeing loads of other people, taking money from them, telling them lies, and it was just good to see it with my own eyes to know that I wasn't thinking crazy. So yeah, what a horrible day to be a woman. I hope that they make another group, and I hope that something can be done about this, because personally I think it's disgusting. And I'm not a man hater, but I do want to see women safe.
Well, good thing you've let us all know you don't hate men, because otherwise who knew what we would have thought? The truth instead of a lie. Oh, wait, what? No. The group Are We Dating the Same Guy was deleted. I'm devastated. Where will I endlessly scroll now? Well, if you're looking to lose all your functioning brain cells you have left, then I would suggest TikTok. You notice this lady that posted this video and didn't mention why all those Facebook groups got removed. They could have never been doing something that was wrong, because let's face it, they're women, so what could ever be the reasons why those groups got removed? Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit.
So it's a sad day to be a woman, but it's an awesome day if you're an abuser. The Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook groups have been removed today. If you are dating on the dating scene and you just wanted to check up if someone is an abuser before you meet them off the internet, very scary as a woman to meet a man off the internet. You no longer have that option. Also, you can't do Clare's Law, because you're not allowed to Clare's Law someone you're not in a relationship with. They won't tell you anything. So that's where these groups were important. Yes, these groups were extremely toxic and were misused. People were posted on there that do not deserve to be posted on there. Women scorned were using the group to get back at men. Unfortunately, they've ruined it for everyone, because now the groups have been removed and now it's a free-for-all for abusers. Abusers are going to be like kids in a sweet shop now on dating apps. The girls walk straight into their arms. They're going to get the classic love bombing, and then the abuse is going to start. And it could have been prevented by Are We Dating the Same Guy, but unfortunately the misuse of the groups has ruined it for everyone. Now, I don't know why this has happened exactly. I don't know if Meta were ordered by the courts to take the groups down, or if it's a decision they've made themselves. But something has happened, because today the groups have been dropping like flies. They've just all been getting shut down.
Wait, are you really saying that women ruined a good thing that was made by a woman for women? Crazy, I did not see that coming. Let's just get to the reasons why those groups got removed so we can put all this behind us. A man who was falsely posted and lost his job due to what people were saying about him ended his own life recently, and his family sued personally and won. The court sided against the pages and Facebook removed them all. The Are We Dating the Same Guy group, which allow women to vet potential dates, have faced legal challenges including lawsuits and accusations of defamation. Some groups have been criticized for potentially facilitating doxing, revealing personal information, and defamation, spreading false and damaging information. So, good riddance.
Are we dating the same guy? This is a page that's on Facebook. Many of you on here will be aware of it, and we've spoken about it before. It shares kind of people who are married, people who are dating other people, people who are potentially a danger to women because they have a history of abuse. However, there is a male version. Now, a lot of people won't be surprised it's a male version. There are obviously people that will be. While the ladies' version is to safeguard and to make sure nobody is dating somebody who's married unbeknownst to them, or nobody is at risk of abuse or violence. The male version apparently is where they rate the women they've been with, how easy the women were to be with, and who should take a turn on the woman next. Now, A lady got in touch with me today to say that she'd seen somebody's brother was talking about it on Facebook and the contents was absolutely shocking. And I want to know, have you seen this page? Is this correct? Is this the kind of thing that's going on? And if it is, can you get me some screenshots, please? Obviously in the utmost confidence, but it would be nice to see.
Why not look for it yourself? How are you gonna make a video about some groups that may or may not exist? It takes about 30 seconds to see if those groups are real. You could have postponed your video for 30 seconds. Nothing you've said in your video was that important that people watching couldn't have waited 30 more seconds.
All of this perpetuation of these narratives of men against women and women against men is very purposeful. Okay? Let's also just recognize that the dark forces, the evil energies that are at play here in this reality know how powerful men and women are when they unify, when they come together. And so what's the best plan of action is to keep them distracted, to keep them at war with each other, to keep them at war within themselves, and to consistently feed these dark loops that draw us further and further away from each other. Yeah, so that's what's happening in the world. And you know, men have to do their work, and women, we have to do ours too. We don't get excuses for our toxic shit.
In your 20s, like, who the wants to get married and settle down? I want to feel the thrill. I want to be getting my head bashed in the mattress, and then I want to be getting ghosted the next day. I want to have my heart ripped out of my chest, and I want to do it all over again.
I want to get my heart broken and I want to do it all over again. No! This is the worst advice women are giving in 2025. Glamorizing getting ghosted and your heart ripped out like pain is a lifestyle and dysfunction is sexy. And to think some of you are actually listening to this, thinking it's empowering to be used, thrown out, and broken over and over again. This is exactly why modern dating is hell. Broken women create broken men, and broken men destroy families. By the time you grow out of this phase, the good men, they're already gone. Building a relationship with someone who chose peace, love, and loyalty early, I chose that life. I chose discipline over chaos, and now I have peace. Real peace, not a fake validation from a one-night stand. You weren't made for trauma, you were made for love. But you'll never find that if pain is your preference. So wake up. You're not being empowered, you're just being emptied.
The guy is absolutely right, but if their entire life goal is to have their head mushed into a mattress, then let them. By the time a man will consider marrying one of these, they'll be so broken it will disgust men to even be around them. And yes, I know that's not a good thing, obviously, but it's still better than discovering she's doing all of that while the two of you are married. The sad truth is nothing I say or anything you ever said gonna change anything for as long as one of these empowered women are giving this type of advice to other young women.
Reasons Gen Z is becoming one of the most conservative generations we've ever seen. Let me explain. Gen Z is the first generation to experience what it's like to live in a household on one paycheck, having a stay-at-home mom. Parents are able to afford to buy a house. That is nearly an impossible dream to obtain. Gen Zers are just tired of indoctrination, not only in our movies and our music and our media, but in our education and our culture as well. Gen Zers are the first generation to experience mass propaganda through things like social media and technology. We see right through it. Gen Zers were also told that feminism and sexual liberation would be empowering to us as adults. We've also realized that was a lie as well. Though many people call Gen Z the dumbest generation to ever exist, I beg to differ. I'd like to see anybody survive in a generation that is exposed to extremely addictive screens that are constantly promoting propaganda, misinformation, confusion, identity politics. If you're a Gen Zer and you came out right, you're pretty smart.
You know how one of the groups of people that is the most susceptible to being indoctrinated into a cult is the people who think that they're too smart to be indoctrinated into a cult? You notice how Gen Z is slipping into a lot of conservative ideology?
Yeah, it's crazy. In your heart to heart, who do you think is most likely to join or already be a part of a cult? The one on the left side of the screen or the one on the right side of the screen?
Does anybody else think that it's odd that we teach our daughters what to expect from men but not how to treat them?
It's odd because it's a double standard and a perfect example of how our society pedestalizes girls and women, telling them that they're perfect, they're flawless, that they don't need to learn how to treat men, that they're fine as they are, but that men and boys are broken, that everything in society that is bad is their fault, and for them to then earn that equal respect to women, They have to do all the work on themselves. They have to be taught. They have to be told how to behave correctly. And that creates a fundamental imbalance, because the reality is, as the woman so correctly points out in this video, both boys and girls need to be taught that. They both need to learn how to treat each other. But in today's society, we have this narrative that we still live in a system from 50, 60 years ago that a lot of people would call patriarchal, where men were the way more dominant force. They controlled the dialogue and everything going on. But we don't live in that time anymore. It's shifted the other way. It's swung so far the other way, and people are afraid to address this because they think that it means we want to reverse things to the 1950s. But it doesn't. It just means that we need to treat boys and girls equally in areas like this and reverse the imbalance that we have at the moment, which is heavily pro-female and heavily pro-femininity. Neither of them are better than each other. They are equal forces, and people need to take that on board.
So many women are competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys are getting ignored. And then what ends up happening is, where do those guys go? And they go online. They're really going to some of these red-pilled communities. And so what you're seeing now is just men really opting out of society. So when you go back to that stat, 1 in 7 young men in the UK is not in employment, education, or training. They have just opted out. And as Scott says, there's nothing scarier than a single man, a young single man. And so we are just creating a lot of these angry young single men who are saying, well, this is rigged against me. And if we wonder, where are the dads, where are the men? Well, men are finding these father figures, but they're finding them online, and they're not the father figures that I would choose for the majority of men. And so I'm really worried about this, because I feel like women are saying, guys, you need to step up because I can provide and I don't need that from you. And guys are not prepared to rise to the occasion.
The biggest problem you have is you as a woman can no longer control those men who are choosing to be single. Single men, or in this case, single young men, are not a danger to anyone. They're going to work, they're going home, playing video games, do whatever hobbies they have, or if they have any, and they're choosing to not have anything to do with you. You used to have power over men by controlling their actual desires, controlling their access to sex. Now that they're not even interested in that, and we know that because more than 30% of men between ages of 18 to 30 never slept with a woman. And that is what scares you and women like you. You no longer have power over men. They are not a danger to anyone just minding their own business. But you are. By going online and keep bashing men even when they don't want to have anything to do with you, you are. You worry that they're gonna turn against women, then stop trying to bash them into a corner.